Hello. Today we are going to do some chair warm-ups for singers. So I know lots of singers right now are doing Zoom meetings, and most of the time you're probably sitting down to do your singing. So this is a great way to start your warm-ups, to even when you're practicing during the day, you can use these to do some warm-ups, physical warm-ups before you start your singing. So we're going to start by sitting at the edge of your chair. So you want your feet to be facing straight out in front of you and touching the floor. If your feet don't touch the floor, put a book underneath them, put something on the floor so that your feet are actually flat. And then you want to make sure that they're facing straight, and you want your knees on top of your ankles and your knees to be coming directly out from your hips. So you're not going to be sitting like this or like this or like this, which is typically how most people sit. You want to have everything lined up because it helps with your singing posture. So to start, we're just going to do some quick breaths, and we're going to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. We're going to do it 3 times. And when we're doing this, we're going to bring the arms up over the head and then to the heart center. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And again, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And one more time, inhale through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. All right, now we are going to take our fingers, and I want you to interlock them. We're going to stretch them up over the top of our heads. You want to release your shoulders, so you don't want them shrugged up all the way here. You want to release your shoulders, and we're going to stretch to one side. Remember to keep your feet planted firmly on the floor. This will help with the stretch. So just go as far as you possibly can. Come back to center, and then stretch over to the other side, and come back to center. And then we are going to interlock the fingers the other way. So if you bring them down, whichever index finger is in front is now going to go behind the other index finger. And then you're going to bring them back over your head again. Release the shoulders again. Stretch. Remember to keep the feet. Try and keep the knees straight ahead as well. And stretch. And then come back to center. And then go to the other side. Nice stretch through the side of the body. And then come back to center and release back down to your legs. All right, so now we're going to do some neck stretches. So I want you to take your head and try and bring it to your shoulder. And if you need a little bit more stretch, you can bring your hand up and just allow your hand to give some weight to your head. Remember to release the shoulders from the ears when you're doing all of these things. You don't want to create more tension. You want it to be nice and relaxed. So good stretch on one side, come back to center, and ear to the other side. And again, you can use your hand to create a little bit more stretch through here. Remember to relax the shoulder, both of them, and a nice stretch to the side. All right, and then come back to center, and then we're going to drop the head to the chin to the chest. So when we do this, I want you to feel the whole back of the neck try to start to stretch out. And to help with this, you can interlock your fingers and place them over the back of your head and just allow your arms to create more weight. So you're going to drop your chin to your chest, and then you can bring your hands to the back of your head and just allow the back of the neck to release. So when you do this, try not to slouch. Try to keep your body upright and allow the weight of the head to release the back of the neck. And then come back up. We're going to do the neck stretches to each side again. So ear to the shoulder, and again you can allow the hand to give you a little bit more stretch. And then other side, ear to the shoulder, and a little bit more more stretch with the arm. If you find that the arm is too much, just don't use the arm. You can just stretch it out as much as you possibly can. And then come back to center, drop the chin to the chest, and then again, if you want a little bit more stretch, and remember not to allow this weight to allow you to slouch. You want to keep the spine as straight as you can from the lower back. And then come back up. All right, so this one, the next one, we're going to stay sitting like this with our feet and knees. So if you need to readjust, make sure that your knees are still in line with your hips, your knees are still in line with your ankles, and your feet are still facing straight forward. This one you may need a strap, or you can use a men's tie, you can use a belt, you can use a piece of rope, whatever you need to be able to do this pose. So I'm going to use a strap, just because it's what I have handy. This one's a really long one, so I'm going to double it over. And I'm going to bring it over my right shoulder. And if you're in the chair, just make sure that it didn't flop over the back of the chair, because you will need to reach it. So again, line up your feet again. And this time you're going to bring the right arm straight up, relax the shoulder. You're going to reach it as far back behind you as you can and grab a hold of that strap. Then you're going to take your left hand, you're going to reach it back behind, come up as far on the strap or belt or whatever you're using as you can. And the idea is to stretch out this part of the arm and to open up the front of the chest. So you want to try and create as much openness here as you possibly can. And you don't have to reach up very high on the strap in order to do this. Your arm could be all the way down here. The one thing with the upper arm is you want to make sure that the elbow is pointing as straight to the ceiling as possible. So you don't want it all the way out here. You want it as straight as possible. All right. And remember not to arch your back. So you don't want to be this way. You still want to keep your abdominals working nice and tight. And then release. And we're going to go to the other side. So you're going to put the strap on the other side. And again, left arm straight up. So lots of times this will feel straight. So maybe see if you can find a mirror or something so you can see yourself. You're going to reach down, grab the strap. Right arm, you're going to reach behind. So you're going to find that one side is much tighter than the other side. So this side for me is much more difficult than doing the other way around. So, and remember to breathe. So this is one thing that you want to remember to breathe in. So the idea is to open up the front of the chest and to open up the shoulders so that when you take your breaths in, they're nice and big and wide. And then we're going to do it one more time each side. So if you want, you can stay on the same side instead of switching the straps back and forth. So straight up, reach back down, reach behind, grab a hold of the strap. This time I want you to see if you can create a little bit of tension between the two hands. So you want to pull on the strap between the two hands so that you're opening up. You'll feel some opening in this part of the shoulder here. And then switch to the opposite side. I'm going to bring the arms straight up, reach back down, reach behind, and then again create some tension between the two hands so that you're pulling the strap. All right, and then release, and you can get rid of your strap or your whatever you used, your belt. If you can reach your hands together, you can do it that way as well. I just find that it creates a lot more stress in the body when you do it that way. If you have the strap, then at least you're not trying to overstrain the body and try and get the fingers together. But if you don't have a strap, you can reach behind and your fingers don't have to touch at all. All right, so the next one is we're going to do a forward fold. So for the first piece of the forward fold, where you're sitting, you want to fold where your hips are bent in your seated position. So you don't want to try and fold from up here or where your belly button is. You want to try and fold from here. And all I want you to do is try and lay your chest onto your knees. And it doesn't matter how far you get. The idea is to actually extend the spine as much as possible. So you don't want to round and try and fold. You want to sit up nice and tall, and you can put your hands here so that it gives you a good indication of where to fold. and you're just gonna fold yourself over just like this. And I just got closer to you in the video. And then if you can bring your hands down to the floor, and then we're gonna come back up. All right, so this time, when you fold over, you're going to extend the spine as much as you can and fold over, and then we're going to drop the head. So in order to do this, we're going to spread the legs a little bit further apart so that you have more room to drop your head. The idea is to, again, release the whole back of the neck. So your head is the heaviest part of your body. So if you can get your head to feel weighted, then it will allow the neck to start to release. So we're gonna fold over at the hips and come down, and then you're gonna release the head. And again, if you need the hands to release the head a little bit, you can do that. And then one of the things I like to do in this position is to just do a figure 8 with the head to try and release the neck. And then when you come back up, I want you to lead with the heart center and not your head. So you want to lead from here and come up so that this tries to come up first. And the reason for that is so that you don't get a head rush and all the blood doesn't come to your head, which is what causes you to feel dizzy when you fold over. So you always want to try and come up with your heart center first so that the blood comes to your heart first and not to your head first. All right, so we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to do each position. So you're going to fold over and come halfway, and you can bring your hands to the floor. And then I want you to just bring your head so that it is pointing straight ahead. So you're just looking straight down. So you're keeping your spine nice and long. If you can't touch the floor, just bring your hands to your knees, your shins, wherever you can get them to reach. And then come back up, and one more time, all the way over, and bring the hands to the floor and drop the head down. Again, if you need the hands to release the neck, you can do that. And then just a couple of figure 8s coming around with the neck, just to get some relaxation in there. And then again, when you come up, you're going to lead with your heart and come up to seated. All right, so we're going to come back to feet directly in front of you. And this time we're going to open up the back. So you want to take your left hand and bring it straight out in front of you, your arm. You're going to bring your right arm over top. You're going to bring them up, and then you're going to intertwine them. So you want to try and bring your elbows so that they're shoulder height. If that hurts, shoulders in here, you can bring them down to the chest, wherever it doesn't hurt. So up to the shoulders, and then you want to see if you can bring your hands away from your head so that you're creating a nice stretch. So you want to feel the shoulder blades moving away from each other in the back. All right, and then come back down. And this time you're going to bring the right hand out, left hand on top, and wrap them around. Bring them to shoulder height if you can, and then bring the arms away from the head. And take a breath. So remember again, you don't want to be arching your back here. You want to use your abdominals to support you. And then release and come back down. Now, if you can't get your arms to reach around, you can grab the strap again, and you can use the strap to actually grab a hold of them, and that will allow you to bring the hands together. So when we do the upper body, we also like to stretch out the hips and the lower body, even though we're sitting. So I want you to bring your right leg, and you are going to bring it up so your ankle is resting on just behind your kneecap. So you don't want it resting on your kneecap because that's really hard on your kneecap. You want it to rest on your thigh just behind your kneecap. So you don't want to pull it all the way up here because I know that's really hard for lots of people. You want to make sure that your knee is still coming out from your hips so that you're not moving the leg that's still on the floor. The other leg, I want you to just gently push down on the knee. So just a gentle, gentle push. You don't want to push really hard. You don't want to overextend your hip flexors. You can point your toes towards you. You can point your toes away from you, whichever one you feel is giving you more of a stretch. So I find that pointing away from me helps in here, and it starts to relieve my calves as well. All right, and then switch. So you want to plant the leg that you just had up, and then you're going to move the other one up, and you will find again that one side is always going to be tighter than the other side. So this is my tight side. So pushing down gently onto the knee, and you can point the toes towards you, away from you. You can leave the foot flat, whichever one works for you. All right, and then take a breath, and we're going to bring it back down. So now we're going to join those two poses. So this is what is called eagle pose, and when you're standing up, you actually intertwine the legs like you do the arms, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to take the right leg, bring it up over the left leg. Remember, the left leg is still nice and straight. You're going to bring the right arm out so it matches the leg. Left arm on top, intertwine them, bring the elbows up to shoulder height if you can, and bring the arms away from the face. So you're getting a nice hip stretch, and the shoulders and the shoulder blades are getting a nice stretch as well. And then release, come back down. And then the other side, so we're going to bring the left leg up on top of the right. Remember, the right leg is still nice and stable. You're going to bring the left arm out, right arm on top. Intertwine the two hands, bring the shoulders up, the elbows up to shoulder height, and bring the hands away from the face. And take a deep breath in, and exhale through the mouth. All right, and then release. All right, so we have two more things to do. So we are going to just release our breath. Now that we've done some physical warm-up, we're going to release the breath. So I want you to come again so that you're sitting, so your feet are straight ahead. Your knees come out from your hips. Your knees are on top of your ankles, so you don't want your feet back. You want them to be planted firmly on the floor. Look down to the side, and I want you to see that your shoulder is in line with your hip sitting on the chair. And then we're going to bring our hands to our heart center here, and we're going to inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth. And we're going to do it 3 times. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And one more time, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. All right, so the very last thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn this way so that you can see me a little bit better. I move my strap because it's in the way. So you want your feet so that, again, knees on top of the ankles, feet are facing straight forward. Your hip wants to line up with your shoulder, and then your ear needs to line up with your shoulder. So you want to sit up nice and tall, okay? So you don't want to be, so typically when we are on a Zoom meeting, we're on our laptops or keyboards or wherever we happen to be, and you want to be this way because this is the way we normally sit. So you want to create a nice singer's posture. So, and remember to release any of the tension in the front of the neck as well. That's why we did some of the front chest openers to help release that. You can bring your hands to your thighs, you can bring your hands down to the side, and just take a deep breath in and exhale. And see if you can find a comfortable position for this to be in. So it may feel awkward to begin with because it's not exactly how we're used to sitting, and it feels a little bit stiff. So maybe bring your hands up, do some waves, and practice some singing. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you enjoy your singing after doing your warm-up. Have a great day.